Unfortunately, he's having some technical difficulties, so he might drop in at any moment. But yes, thank you. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, Auto.
Yes, I am so excited for our part 17 of the seminar series on the offer wall, and I've constructed a series of rants, a list of complaints and demands. I think we're owed damages, millions of dollars, etc., etc.
Yes, so for those that don't know, yes, Auto is now back with us. He has rejoined the game. Stars will be here at some point. He could not make it tonight due to other obligations, but Big is at the very last minute filling in, and at the very last minute trying to fix all his technical difficulties. He'll be here very momentarily. But tonight we're going to have a bit of a chilled out session, I think, for what we're going to talk about tonight, which involves the part 2. Is this part 2 or is this part 3? This is part 2, I think.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2 of the Mega, which is the faction event featuring Jhamel, a 2-skiller who we are. How do you feel about Jhamel, Auto?
We should have had a sound effect queued up for this. Or something like that.
I think we were talking before stream.
Okay, so the comparison was there to Lisanne, Enterprise Andorians, and I think a few people were fearing 2-skiller, hoping for the best, but
looking
there's
at
not
Lisanne,
much there.
You wonder what you're going to get. But yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the faction event, and considering the large pool of crew we have available to us, because we've got all of Enterprise, we've got Kirks, you've got all of Taurus. This is something like 128, something like that. A very large pool. I think only beaten by an event a few weeks back, which you mentioned to me that I've completely forgotten about.
I want to say it's 123, and I think the regular is 131 from the romantic trait event like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's the one. Big messages. It's just not happening. I'll keep trying. You keep trying, Big. We'll see you soon.
I even shaved my head for your appearance, Big, and you're not going to show up? How can you do this to us?
So, first off, before we talk about anything, and I neglected the last 2 weeks, both Dam and Zathras have been on me saying, you left us till the end. But yes, the Datacore, I'm going to plug this at the start. They need a little bit of support. As you well know, the Datacore has now moved to various people working on it instead of Temporal Agent 7. They need a little bit of help. I'm going to put a link in chat now. You can find this on the forums. This is where you can go. If you can go here, sign up for a quick GitHub account and add a star to it. They need 100 stars, and they can use something called the Open Collective to get some funding to help keep it up. The upkeep costs, I've heard, are not enormous, but they do need a little bit of assistance to keep this great resource that we all use. A lot of the things that I do depend on it. A lot of people use it every day, whether it's crew searching or just the voyage calculator. Go and give them a little bit of help. I think there's going to be a statement coming out from the guys running it on how they're going to go forwards. But yeah, it's being worked on. For the people, I still see people saying that, it's being shut down. Well, no, it's not. It's going to keep going. They just need a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, on the page that he linked, it's in the upper right. It says watch, star, and fork. So just smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Oh yeah.
Dear. I've avoided saying that. I hate it. This is weird, because I haven't done this with anyone else apart from last week, which was mine and Seven's drunken rants. But I haven't done this like we used to in the good old days and the time before.
We're hoping to reach that sort of level of inebriation again. By the way, shout out to Past Me, because last time I was on the show, Idle was going through all his packs and starring up crew and unstarring crew. So we get to the part of the evening where he's opening Honor Beholds in the time portal, right? You click the button, you only get a big gold. I'm so tits up at this point. I'm like, dude, you're so lucky you're getting big gold after big gold, and no one called me out. I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me on stream you're a buffoon, and just move on?
I think that was one of my favorite moments. Dude, I'm getting so many golds. But yeah. Yeah, no, that was good. But yeah, last week we had me and Seven abusing each other on stream and Big looking their stun. But yeah, before I'd sort of been running this on my own, and I kind of haven't got used to our formal structure of very serious Seven dislikes, just talking about statistics and the raw analysis of this game. No hijinks, just pure.
No,
No,
we're going to mix things up a little bit. A little bit.
I want to do bits again. I want to do bits. I want to do recaps. I want to have fun.
Yes, this, like most of our streams, is last minute. I was at work. My phone had 8% battery, and I texted Idle say, "Okay, I'll be on the stream tonight." So that's
I need something to do.
Yeah. Which, by the way, at first I was so hurt and offended that you would start the stream without your two co-hosts. But yeah, I thought about it. I thought about our friendship and our time together, and then I got even more offended. How could you do this show?
You motherfucker!
No, I'm just kidding.
No, and I think when we spoke about this before, and I said about keeping the big book. It was a very serious, heartfelt conversations that we had. Keeping the big book going. I said, look, I want to do the stream again. This is where I'm come from, and always argumentative you were, but you were supportive behind it.
Argumentative? I don't remember. It must have been during my blackout.
No, it's brilliant to have you back. I think it was one of the happiest days we said, yeah, I'm coming back on, and then
Well, yeah. So the whole offer wall thing is, I mean, it is what it is. There's not going to be any more rants or anything like that. But yeah, the last time we spoke about that, I had a list, my own personal list of things I'd like to see fixed, including the inbox bug, the surveys, etc. And they pretty much went ahead and fixed that. So, there's still issues with it, but you can't say that Wicked Realm hasn't been listening to the player base or trying to address things, because they definitely have. So that's why I'm back. And then I linked a series of embarrassing love songs in Star's Discord begging him to come back. And once we got to Miley Cyrus, he said, okay, what will it take for you to stop sending these to me? So
come back and incite your many wolves.
All right, but before we get going, because we've been talking so much, can we do a beholder meter?
Okay,
I've been itching for these so long.
How do I get rid of that image? That one there. Let's do a couple. Let's do a quick few. Should be right. Let's get it spinning. Spin the wheel.
But you got to give me the sound effect.
Yeah. I'll get some audio for that at some point. Okay.
No whammies, big money.
Spin the wheel. Okay. Hang on. No, I think I've made a mess up with the image there. We can't have Gary Seven, John Harriman, and Detective Data in the same behold. Let's try that one again. All right, No, hang on. I need to sort out my images. We got some 4 stars creeping in there.
That's okay. We'll have a little fun with the first one.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Okay, this is quite decent. Revolutionary Damar, 0 stars. Tuxedo Nog, 0 stars. Or Captain Nog at 3 stars. Here we go. Chat, please weigh your opinion as well.
There was a time when I would have sworn by a upcoming Ferengi Mega. And that time has not passed yet. Ferengi are so interesting, so much fun, and there's not a ton of them. I'm sure we're going to have a Mega sooner or later.
There's plenty of choices. You could have Damon Tog. You can actually get him on the Kraton. It's got to be done.
And if you had a little Rascals crossover with the Ferengi, that would work too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm such a big fan of Season 7 Damar, when he grew out spine and certain other body parts, and he started taking names and kicking ass. So he's okay in the Gauntlet. You're not going to use him a ton, but when he gets crit, he's all right. So, and now that Honor is such a juicy resource for the sales, maybe you want to pass on Kalis and get a different Command Gauntlet crew. So, looks like the chat is split too.
Yeah, definitely Damar or Nog or Tux. Some people are saying Captain for the Adastar mentality, which is fine. If you're low on slots, it's the VIP slogan, which is ATS always take the star. But if you've got the slots, I think you could either go either way. I don't know how better than I do how much Tuxedo Nog has aged, where having that first star, whether it was worth anything or not. I don't know, 5 or 5 of him.
He was for a long time. I think I want to say Borg Queen was the first crew with her skill set. The command dip engine was very rare for a long time, and of course they've added to it. So I think he was maybe the third or fourth crew with that skill set. He's got the vanity. I don't know if they would expand Ferengi anytime soon because there's not a lot of options, but he's a competent enough Voyager. I mean, obviously with Aaron Eisenberg's passing, Wicked Realm went ahead and made him the icon for the Ferengi faction store, which is really neat. So if you are a vanity completionist, he's not the worst.
Definitely. Oh, and
I don't know who are you taking, Idle?
I'd be if this was my roster, I'd probably take Tamar for Gauntlet, even though I hate the Gauntlet. But any little helps. But then you got Nog. He's in the holodeck enthusiast. What can you do? Let's spin again. Let's spin.
We've got a viewer from Quinlot telling us the Kalis is still worth it. The wind does not respect the fool.
I'm so tempted. I'm tempted now. I recently did Stargazer, Picard, and EMH just to get them done, and I'm tempted to while I've got that little bit of time before when we might have an honor sale to get KLS and just get it done.
Did you buy the sites to finish EMH too?
Yes. I mean, it's 500. If you're going to spend that much, 500's there. He's done. He's gone. My completionist senses are taken away with. Right. Okay, no stars, Musketeer LaForge, 1 star, Honey Bear Dax, or 2 stars, Mirror Stamets. There's
I know who Seller's gonna pick. Well, man, that's tough. Did you rig these or something? These are much closer than.
I've not touched it apart from apparently adding a load of 4 stars.
How do you go from John Harriman to this conundrum? Which, by the way, Conundrum, great TNG episode. If you haven't seen it, I think it's season 5.
What's the commander's name in that? The imposter. What was?
He's a God, I don't remember. But he was such a smarmy. Yeah, I hope they pick him. Give him a card. He deserves it.
Definitely.
He would have the spy trait, right?
Yeah, he must do. Or undercover operative at least.
Chet, you guys are true Star Trek fans. What's the name of the fake commander in the episode Conundrum? Macduff.
Yeah,
thank
you are. Yeah.
Of course, Garrett comes through again.
I'll be tempted, because wasn't that Stamets one of the, in the early days of the sort of before the times of engineering medical, wasn't he one of the stalwarts of that at some point?
I'd be
tempted to add
again, he was one of the early. Okay, I'm going to pull out my checkoff. Was I ever that young? I think we had him tier 1 in the big book.
Did you really?
And it was chuckled at by a few people, and they were probably right at the time. But he's not what he once was. But if these bonus pools are anything to go by, we may get another Discovery event.
I think
I am a total sucker for Musketeer's art, and he gets us 45% gauntlets. I would take him. I would be in the minority, but I would do it.
I don't have him yet. I'd probably go Stamets for myself, just to give that little Mirror Discovery pool a bit of a boost, because they're both traits. I mean, we haven't seen Mirror for quite some time, but now that we've kind of had the question of our show megas coming back with the Enterprise mega, then yeah, I think we could reasonably say that the next Disco mega will be Disco in full. I reckon.
Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno. Definitely a Disco Inferno.
Now, we did have Mirror. I'm looking quickly. We had, 2020. So in March of this year, we had a Mirror event. I mean, with these traits, either you're getting a mega, which these days accounts for 1 faction event, or you're lucky to get one, a one-off per year, which may or may not be a faction event. So yeah. I think the consensus at this point is cast a wide net and try to grab whatever traits you can.
Yeah. Should we do...
Which
Go on.
Jhamel has in spades.
Yes. Well, that's a wonderful little segue there. Shall we turn them off for now? And let's... Excuse my parlance, but let's turn on Jhamel. There she is. Legendary crew for this week's...
Such a boys club stream.
Sorry, 7. Yes, the 2-skiller dip med Jhamel is this week's 1/500 exciting ranked whatever for this mega, which started off, which we were quite excited. It's like, yes, it's an Enterprise mega. It's quite a tightly themed mega, and I still think that it is still the most tightly themed mega since the Toss Bridge one. Is still, the characters are there if the stats are not. But we have Jhamel.
Yeah, if I was on the Russian Olympic Committee, I'd give them probably an 8.5 for theme and 3 out of 10 for power in terms of crew.
Yeah.
Barclays has steam coming out of his ear because this mega is, from a statistical point of view, not blowing anyone's socks off yet.
No.
We do have a few more crew, but yeah, I mean, she has the art, and so you know, you look at the potential in crew when they first debut. At 5 out of 5, she is good arena evasion. But if you're spending 5 stars for arena evasion, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You probably have Minuet already or whoever else. Beyond that, like I said, just traits. What does she have? She has Spy, Inspiring, which we always talk about collections. No, not Spy. I'm thinking of Torres. We'll get there in a minute. Inspiring, Telepath, Andorian.
Yes.
All right. So there are a few options there, but
Telepath, communicator. If she had the proficiency, that could be something for Gauntlet, but she does not.
No Name Namer asks, how many dip med shuttles are there? Well, we are going to get dip shuttles because of Humanoid Figure. I have to stop myself from saying shadowy bastard every time.
Thanks, Skycap.
And of course, Travers is med dip. So they usually do pretty well linking up event crew with the seats. So I could see some med dip, but I don't think it matters since she's the reward this week and is going to be Galaxy next week. So I sort of figured that out myself as I was talking.
Working on the fly. It's how well prepared we are this week. I think it was literally about 2 hours you text me and just went, I'm coming on the stream. I'm like, all right. Oh, and Big's coming too. All right. Actually, where's Big?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and here comes Big.
Here you go. White flag. Oh, he's given up. Big's given up. Never mind. All right. Keep trying, Big. We'll get you on.
We do miss Stars and Garters on the show because he's the resident enterprise expert. In terms of storyline, I have seen the episode maybe once. So
I've seen it a couple of times.
Bail me out here, Idle.
It is a good one. This is kind of the era where Enterprise was actually quite intriguing because you had the sort of, the 3-part Vulcan Cyrenite one, and then you had this was a 2-parter where you introduced to the Anar, which are the Remans to the Romulans. They're the little moon that goes around Andoria, and they're the sort of the offshoot race. But it was quite interesting, and it sort of added to what was hopefully being built up to the Romulan War had they got a season 5. So, and using the Andorians as well. And bearing in mind, no Trek series up to then had any Andorian exposition. So it was nice to sort of see that part of the world. And we all love Jeffrey Combs, and having more of him is always a good thing.
More than one person today in Discord was lamenting the power level of Andorians, including Mr. Combs. So, what is that? Do we have any? The best Andorian, I reckon, is Mirror. I don't even remember his name. That's how good he is. Shukar. Thank you. Yeah. And I think what happened is DB loves their disco crew and their contract with CBS, and they don't love so much the Andorians. So they were in a conundrum between making him great and making him terrible. And he ended up sort of right in the middle. When he debuted, he was good on Voyages, good in the Gauntlet. And so I think he stands as the best of the Andorians, and Jhamel's not going to knock him off anytime soon.
There was an Andorian Mega, was there not? Or there was a trait bonus?
It was Disco / Andorian.
Yeah. There mustn't
one of the 14 Disco Megas.
I was going to say, that couldn't have been many Andorians. There would have been, Shraz? Or was he a bit later? I can't remember.
Well, let me look it up, and you vamp for me.
Hi, guys. Vamping it now. Yeah, so, your...
Okay, here it is.
Perfect.
Lieutenant Tara, who, in terms of force, she's got a big base. That's all that matters. Commando Shran, Commander Thielen, Ambassador Shraz. Okay, he might be the best Andorian in the game. He's got +9 arena attack, huge base, and I think diplomat collection. And then the aforementioned...
No, he's ambassador, isn't he? Because we were talking about this the other day. Ambassadors and diplomats. We had there was a huge discussion about it, but ambassadors and diplomats are not the same thing. But let me check.
No, because I think Ambassador Kalar is not a diplomat.
Yeah. Let me have a quick look. I shall use my in-depth tool called Star Trek Timelines to look at the collection.
No, but like you said, you were talking about her potential in storyline, and I think maybe that's sort of what they're hinting at, because Shadowy Bastard, who we'll talk about in a second, has that sort of potential, has that sort of nod to the future, which wasn't quite realized in the storyline. So the cards are not great, but I'm interested to see where they're going with this story.
I haven't actually queued up the art for Humanoid Figure for Mr. Not Archer.
Does it matter?
It doesn't, because it's completely black and I wouldn't be... Well, you've still got the hologram around it. It's like, it's a classic... I said as much. It's a classic bloody WRG move, just sending me another silhouette I can't put on stream.
Well, at least this time he gave you the sheath of light.
But so no, what's because we spoke about it a bit on stream. What's your opinion on Mr. Not Archer?
Okay, so that in case you're not clued in, you turn up the gamma on your Commodore 64 and you will see that shadowy... I really got a humanoid figure is actually Archer, and he's got sort of the same face as humbled Archer, just without the dreadlocks. And I guess the storyline was supposed to go that this shadowy figure that they introduced in the pilot episode was actually Archer from the future trying to change the course of history. So we get this, and of course it harkens back to the prisoner interrogator mega, where Thrax week one was, is he an Odo variant, isn't he? And then they added Changeling later on in the storyline. So a lot of people are figuring, okay, they'll make him an Archer somewhere in the storyline. Well, we'll see. We've only had 1 week. Maybe they still do it. But it wasn't an accident that they made his art an Archer in game. So with that nod to storyline and what we've said about Jhamel, this might be one of the few times that I actually don't click past all this stuff and start the event right away.
You read the story. I have to admit, I did the same. It's sort of like, right, I'm actually going to read the story. One, because it's Enterprise, and two, because there might be that little, it was Archer all along, and maybe they'll upload some new art and it'll be him. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting if he was, because without that Archer variance, I'm a bit sour on him, if I'm honest.
Yeah, he's not the best. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. He's
not
somewhere in
Suspiria,
between.
at least.
He's pretty close to Suspiria, actually. He's got the better skill set, but people have been clamoring for a diplomacy primary mega for a long time, and even before Minuet came in, she was end of 2018. No, end of 2018. So she didn't quite satisfy people, but. Will humanoid figure? I don't know. I think you had the discussion last week on the show. Is he sight-worthy?
We did try.
And that was... Well, should we have that now, or should we just keep drinking? Give me another beholder here. What are we doing talking about?
You'll have to excuse me. I'm still getting over the illness I had last week as well. So, actually, I had, irrelevant to the game, I actually had a COVID test, you'll be glad to know, and I am non-contagious. I had nothing. I had to go and sit in my car while someone held up a telephone number, and I had to phone the telephone number and talk to her outside my car because she didn't want to touch me. That was fun. And give my children swabs. Actually, I have to try and go, right, open your mouth, I'm going to... That was fun.
Actually, one of our close buddies did have COVID early on months ago. And he recovered, I think, fully from it. So, thank God. But pretend you're a Breen, wear your masks, and don't cough on anyone. That's our best advice.
So if you hear me choking, don't worry. I've got a mask over my microphone. We're okay. This is protecting you. You're okay.
Some people might think it's for pops, but no, it's for COVID.
No, it's to keep my disease away from you. Let's go and have a look at pregnant Roxanne Dawson. I had to think about her name then. Brigitte Torres from The Killing Game, unexpectedly pregnant with a holographic baby, completely simulated, but here she is in the game, and actually For a super rare, not too bad. I think probably the best thing about this week's event, aside from the potential of getting more Kirks, but as Ace Dams says, yes, his token word for it is bump lana.
Yes, the terrific scone manufacturer, damn. As someone said earlier this week, this is the best worst art they've ever produced because it's not bad art, but I don't think it's Roxanne Dawson. So
I just hate characters that look at you straight in the screen.
Really?
I can't stand it. I just every time I see one, I'm just like, I don't want it because I flick by Edward LaForge looking straight at me. I just feel guilty. I've done something wrong.
See, I don't mind that, but when I was a tyke and there were ads on the subway or whatever, and you're walking down the street and they look at the camera, I noticed that as I walked to the side, the eyes still follow me. And when I was 5, that was the freakiest thing I had ever encountered to that point. So
I'm going to send you a life-size cutout of Brigitte Torres just to sit in your living room.
I'm not sure my wife would say to that. So the worst best art, and beyond that, yeah. So there are a lot of these crew that are good stats. She's base number 4. If you weren't around, Pulaski is a long time ago now. I know most of us watching, listening are veterans of the game. Pulaski was a long time ago. We had Riker Q, I want to say last year, right? Yeah, he was the Q Scoundrel Mega. He had a huge dip. If you miss those, she's got a big dip base, and she's good on voyages, even though she's got that sort of unnecessary command dip sec skill set. So she's got some use, especially on early rosters. And, Taurus is so barren for diplomacy. We have Human Taurus, the 5-star version, who is functionally identical to Tourist Trip, who we have in the campaign this week. Beyond that, all you have is Liaison Taurus, another campaign crew. So her events are not terribly frequent, but if you're going to unfreeze one super rare Taurus, I mean, she might bump Klingon Taurus off that list. I know Klingon Taurus is a name a lot of people have thought for this Enterprise Mega, but, so now you have another good shuttler Taurus, I suppose.
It's good to see some of the more uncommon, because Taurus is not a big event figure, really. It's good to see some of sort of the more uncommon cards being used for events like this, even if they are main cast and they deserve a little bit more representation. But
I hate to make assumptions about anyone, but damn, again in chat says, white socks with those shoes. I'm going to guess that you're not a married man, because if you've ever had a pregnant wife, she can wear whatever the hell shoes she damn well pleases, including mostly different colored socks. So I think that sort of fits with the whole gestalt of Brigitte Torres.
It was World War II. It's different time, different fashion. Look at the plates. Yeah, look at around there.
Great gams, as Paris would say.
I was saying to you earlier, like one of my most wanted Paris variants is I want Big Daddy-O Paris wearing that Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt.
That's the one Paris variant I want. Just because it's so bad. It's like, I'm an aficionado of the 20th century. The one you're currently in.
Yeah. But there's so many nuts. Okay, so in the 37s, we all remember the rusted red truck floating through space. And he starts giving a lecture on combustion engines. Like, that's what he does in his off time. Harry's sitting next to him on the couch, practicing his clarinet solos while he's going through his pad of combustion engines of the early 20th century. He also had, what's that episode with Steth, where he's like shifting into other bodies and he's working on his 1968 Camaro, as Torres calls it, the Camaro. So he does. They use him a lot for the old school stuff. What's that episode we talked about where he gets demoted because he tries on the aquatic planet? You remember that one?
Oh yes, yeah. Yes.
And he starts talking about Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yeah. So I think he's sort of the writer's conduit for old school references. At least it's in character.
Yeah, it's of all the centuries to of all the moments for a character, it's like, yeah, he's contemporary. We're going to use him to relate to the audience. He's into cars and Hawaiian shirts, and he's a womanizer, and he's cool.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. You listen to the podcast him and Garrett Wang do, the Delta Flyers, and it's really interesting to hear Tom Duncan McNeil just talk about it, just going, oh God, I'm such a dick in this episode. Oh, I hate this. You know, he's like, he hates everything about like how he was, at least in the early seasons of Voyager. You know, he's like, I'll refine the character over time, but yeah.
I think a lot of actors, some actors won't even watch their own stuff for that reason. So
yeah, it's good.
I don't blame them.
It. I mean, Garrett Wang knows an obscene amount of stuff about that goes on behind the scenes. He's literally like, he knows a story for every episode.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's a mega nerd, which I appreciate. So.
Yeah, too right.
All right, so Big just put in chat in quotes, oops, something went wrong.
Keep trying. So, see, we had him. He was on stream. He's like, I'm going to restart to check my audio gear. I'm like, don't do it. It works. Just stay on now.
This show is one giant vamp for the arrival of Big McLargeHuge.
We're keeping it going. He'll be here in the last 5 minutes. Like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, end of the show.
So Stars and I made the decision to come back somewhat recently. And, of course, we started talking about the show because we love talking with you guys, hopefully entertaining you guys. And, of course, the topic of show recaps came back. And
I've still got the video. I can play it if you like.
And so I was thinking, well, when I saw the crew for this week, I thought, Jhamel, no, I have no clue what that episode's about. And then I thought the Killing Game. And recapping a two-parter might take the entire show. So I think we declined on that too. But
we'll get back
there are a lot of good moments about that. And there's the Klingon Neelix, which it's almost a shame he's already in the game, because that would have been a hell of a scene to do over. A lot of these are already in the game.
I think we
Bartender Tuvok.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's...
Who are we missing from the Killing Game? We have Klingon Janeway.
I didn't realize Bartender Tuvok was. I can tell you because I have it
Mademoiselle
as a collection on Captain Idol's Datacore sheet 4.0, which has just been released. You should go and collect it now while you can. Yeah, I do have a Killing Game collection on here. Well, I don't.
Tuvok.
I think I missed Bartender Tuvok, which is where you just reminded me. Hang on, let me find it. I should know where this is on here.
We've got Gia Chakotay, we've got Combat Medic Paris. I think we've got everyone from the show except maybe Doc, but how can you do a Doc variant when he's like in uniform in sickbay? That isn't.
Oh, no, I did remember. So, Klingon Janeway. See, there's a question about Agent Janeway. She's technically supposed to be a variant for it, isn't she? But it's an original. Because there's Katrine.
Yeah, that
Katrine
was one
in
of those
there.
Fascinating things. Like, this is what we nerds live for, because there was the debate years ago about if she's a variant of that or not, or a subset of that or not. She had the Section 31 trait, which kind of made no sense.
Yeah.
Because, well, they didn't have collections back then. So, but there was a server update. They removed Section 31. So she's sort of in limbo. She's not in originals. I guess she's from that episode, but yeah, I don't know. Resistance Neelix. Who else are we missing? I think we have all of them, right?
Colonel Carr. Oh, what you mean from the episode, not in...
Yeah,
Resistance Neelix. See, I don't have Resistance Neelix in there. Oh, you reminded me of that one.
You guys are saying Donick. I want to say that it's from a different Voyager episode. Yeah, it's from a different Voyager two-parter where they're trying to... The Hirogen are trying to hunt holograms instead of live prey because it's more humane, because we have to imbue all the humanity traits on the Delta Quadrant. So.
Yeah, no, this was the Colonel Carr and the other Hirogen whose name escapes me. Because Colonel Carr was the second in command, wasn't he?
Who's the guy that looks like Niles Crane with the strong chin who was Brigitte Torres' lover in that episode?
Oh, God, yeah. He needs to be a card, doesn't he?
I think he might be the last holdout.
All right.
So anyway, for veterans, you freeze her, you pull her out hopefully once a year if she gets a faction. For new players, I don't know, would you side her if you were a new player? She has base, voyage, and the occasional event, but nothing really special about her.
Would you like Riker Q for me back in the early days? He was amazing for like dip shuttles, you know. Should be the same. Quick chat about Incognito Kirk, because he is the ranked 4-star bonus this week. Very good Super Rare Kirk for the benefit of being a Kirk, which is always valuable to everyone, but he's actually not too bad in himself, even though he falls into, like you say, that common trap of command sec and dip. BigMcLargeHuge says, sorry for all my blank space up there. I would love to be welcoming Auto back properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because being such a family man, he doesn't have a lot of time, so we love having him on. But
we tried.
Hey, maybe we'll ramble for another hour and you'll be able to sneak in.
Keep working on it, bud. Yeah, we'll get you in there for the last minute. If you log onto the call, you'll still appear. So keep going. Can you get Skype on your phone? Just get Skype on your phone. You'll be fine.
Right,
Incognito
so
Kirk,
Kirk,
yes.
Yeah, he's still the top command base for Kirk among super rares, which I find sort of strange because, besides the animal musk, magnetism, masculinity of Kirk, you think command, he was a captain and then he was an admiral and he was so damn good at being a captain, they just had to demote him back to being the captain. He's got a collection. There are a lot of inspiring Kirks. If you like green girls, he is your inspiration for real. And his traits are not great. He has that investigator trait. I haven't crunched the numbers on that. If he can pass the investigator security epic node unlock, I know he can do on elite, and maybe with a good roll with good bonuses, he can unlock epic if you haven't done that yet. So
hang on.
Obviously being a Kirk is great. A lot of these collection traits like inspiring and diplomat and such, they're not so big that they couldn't be also an event bonus like innovator has been, and then undercover operative to round him out. So
we have
got a little play out. So
he's here.
We do. Is this usable at all?
This'll do.
Yeah, well, this is what we got, because I'm on my phone like you suggested. So
you're very long and thin, but you're there. Let me just try.
You listen to the stream?
I a little bit here and there, but this has been an intensely frustrating experience. So I will begin drinking immediately.
I'll drink to that. All right, what are you drinking tonight, Idle?
I have a wonderful can of what's called Talking Head. It's an American pale ale, and my favorite thing about it is it's actually rated at 2 pant, which I have no idea what that means. Oh, hang on. He's gone sideways. There we go. Yeah. Hey, that's better.
So, with all due respect to Great Britain, I was there for, 10 days on a short trip, touring a few cities. And the best beer I had there was a canned American IPA. So, hey, I do like IPAs.
This is nice.
So maybe I would like that.
This is good. I've had a few. There's the shop I sort of pop into on the way home from work. Sometimes if I want to buy a few streaming beers, as it were, does quite a few nice selections. And I've just got all the condensation dripping onto my leg now, so that's lovely. Anyway, Big, what do you think about Kirk?
Oh, he's on Star Trek, right?
No, you're thinking of Star Wars. He's got the lightsaber.
Yeah,
right.
We'll excuse you.
Incognito Kirk's a good card. I mean, didn't we debate? Or no, that was Roman Captive Kirk that we had debated making a tier 1 card. Yeah. No, I mean he's solid. I mean, not too much more to say about him. He's solid. He's a Kirk. He'll get events regularly, but is the same typical boring skill set that most Kirks are. So
we have Laborer Kirk. It was almost a tragedy that they gave him engineering, because he watches Spock do all of the technical know-how necessary to get them back to the future. And they give him an engineering primary. So, I mean, he's a great card. I'll take him. But I don't know where that engineering came from.
The broom.
And beyond that.
It's all in the broom, just in the sweeping. That's It's a technical skill. You've got to know how to maintain your head, how to equip your bristles.
Yeah, the head came off. He twisted it back into place. Bam, 1300 engineering.
Perfect.
He's a custodial engineer.
And then beyond that, we had butter churning Kirk, survivalist Kirk, the Gorn cannon full of sulfur. Beyond that, does he have? He doesn't have much in the way of engineering, medical, or science. Huh?
I don't think he has a med variant yet.
Yeah,
no, definitely not.
You would think with all the all right, never mind, I won't go there. With all the female-related stuff that he does, you would think he was given a hypo or two from Bones to help him cope with things. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe there's medical there.
Interestingly, I just watched the original series Dagger in the Mind with Dr. Helen Noel, which is one of his a former Flames. And that's a card I'd quite like in the game. Let's move on. Let's talk about this week's Tuesday pack. Terry Hatcher herself, straight off the set of Tomorrow Never Dies. I think that was her Bond film, was it not? Yes, please.
That's the next one in the hopper for Stars and I to watch. Yeah.
There you go. Well, perfect time. B.G. Robinson, not in her Starfleet uniform, from the Outrageous Okona episode. This week's super rare Tuesday pack. And
all right, hold on now, because Big's nose is halfway down the glass. What are you drinking, my man?
Oh, this was a special occasion, so I brought out a special bottle of the Ardbeg Ugadal.
Is that? Have they been admitted to the Federation yet?
No, this is fantastic Scotch. It's my favorite single malt, and nothing less than the best for you in your glorious return.
Oh, thank you. It was somebody's birthday recently, and now that he's hit 21, he can legally drink in the States. So
when's he coming on the stream? Does he like Star Trek?
Terry Hatcher.
Which, as Silver Millsy says, actually does not look like Terry Hatcher. And I have to admit...
I heard that this week. I couldn't disagree more. As soon as I saw her, Terry Hatcher.
I don't know. I think... I'm used to say Tomorrow Never Dies, Terry Hatcher, and the other... No. What else was she in? She wasn't Superman and Lois, was she?
Yeah.
That was Terry Hatcher. Yeah, I can't see it. There must be a very subjective thing, but...
To me, it doesn't look like the Terry Hatcher from that time, because she was pretty young when she did the bit on Star Trek. It looks like a little bit older. Yeah, no, this is probably about like 90.
Okay,
maybe.
It's season 2, so
season 2. Yeah.
Anyway,
the Outrageous Okona, who we have in game. So if you want to put them together in a bridge crew photo, knock yourself out.
I do like that one of...
Okay, this might get me in a lot of hot water, but I'm going to do it anyway, because it's my turn. The Carlsberg Elephant Beer, 7.5%. They have 10.5% somewhere in town, but not locally. That's the beer talking. So we've been accused occasionally of being a boys club. If you want a boys club... This is from B.G. Robinson's Memory Alpha page. It says the script for the Outrageous Okona, which she comes from, describes her character as, quote, I'm going to hear this later, the very feminine and graciously endowed transporter commander B.G. Robinson. Everything she has 2 of are perfectly matched, coordinated, and move with a wonderful grace that is called woman. That could be straight out of 1960s TOS Star Trek, am I right?
It's the Roddenberry playbook. As much as he was absolutely fantastic at diversity for bringing a Russian on in the Cold War, for enforcing black people's rights in the early days and getting a well-diverse cast in Star Trek, he was a bit of a ladies' man.
Yeah. So
to be fair, like season 2, that's early season 2 TNG. They were still finding their way.
Oh yeah,
and how to differentiate themselves. So
and they were
There
still
was
working
some
on
going-
the original series scripts as well. They were very much,
Right.
still in that kind of, this is phase 2, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, that's the question, because you have the holdover. I don't know how many, I'm sure Encyclopedia Stars and Garters would know if you were here. I don't know how many of the holdovers from TOS in terms of writers, producers, etc. We're also working on the early seasons. But
Not many.
yeah, but this sort of, you don't know if it's the people involved or if it's just the first season. Every show's first season, they got to get their legs under them. And this was 1988 per episode. So, I mean, let's not go. I'm the one who started it. I apologize. I just had to get that out there. Let's not go down far, too darn far. I need another beer. Excuse me.
So we've, you guys have, and myself, a little bit. We've all sort of agreed to say, no, she's tier 9. She's down there. She's not useful to anyone in any degree, really.
She could be useful early on to some people, but I mean, there's nothing that differentiates what she does from any number of other cards, and what she brings as far as ancillary traits and stuff like that is dire. There's nothing that really sticks out to me as something that could even be potentially eventable down the line.
Yeah, in fact, I probably don't even need to look this up, but I will anyway. Her traits: human, Starfleet, Federation, romantic. Can you think of any crew with worse traits? For Voyage Antimatter, they're there. They do use the common ones, but I mean, for the chance to pull her out of the freezer, can you think of any possible worse lineup of traits?
Well,
there
she is
might
human.
be a one-off romantic event down the line somewhere, but I mean, maybe one.
They're up to like 115, 120 crew by now, so.
Man, the cards in
knows?
timelines are horny. Like, there are so many romantic variants. It's ridiculous.
There are a few. In fact, while you guys talk, I gotta look through. I'm sure I can find a few that will tickle our fancy.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the last card. Take your time. We got nothing else. Actually, no, we do have one other thing to talk about.
Of course, all the Rikers have it, naturally.
Of course. What about the Kamalas? Kamalas must have it. They got romantic.
You would think.
Yeah.
A lot of Quarks and Garricks, too.
Garrix?
Hold on. Best-selling author, Jake Sisko. Is this correct?
What?
He has romantic.
Okay. What?
Really?
As in,
And this is the old version of him. What, like him hitting on his protege?
What are you implying, DB?
This is completely inappropriate. Wicked Realm, I'm going to have to call a quorum here on your romantic trait for the 90-year-old best-selling author, Jake Sisko.
Hey, now.
On his deathbed.
Hey.
Apparently hitting on Garrick's daughter.
Don't discriminate
After
against
you-
the old people. Old people can be romantic too. It's those guys, they want to find
They have
love
the-
in the darkest place.
I've just seen that episode of House, too, so I know what you're talking about.
It's like, what's her symptoms? She has an STD. How? How do you think?
By the way, I apologize to our female viewers that the discussion of this card has devolved into 1960s misogyny followed by old people STD. All right, this is our warm-up episode. We're getting back into the swing of things.
Oh, just as Seven was saying, it's a boys' club. You never have any girls on. We're just proving ourselves right. Right, okay, let's stop talking about
You don't know anything. Next.
Next. Well, that's it. That's all we got.
Well, let's get another Beholden meter going.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me bring it up. Hang on, let's get rid of that. Let's do the noise. Bloop, 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 bloop. Let's hope there's no 4 stars in this one. Oh, okay. This is a bit of an easy one, but no stars, Wrathful Kirk. No stars, Bugatu. No stars. One of the Troy variants. I forget. Not Ambassador Troy. Just Loaxana Troy.
Must be Grateful Loaxa.
No,
that's
not
the
Grateful.
3-star.
Is it? Oh, for goodness sake.
All right, I'll take the 3-star. Next.
All right, I need to have a little bit of a fine comb through this. Okay. Captain Lorca, 1 star, 0 stars on Captain Lorca, 1 star on Buaul, or no stars on Executive Director Hugh, who is not in the portal, shouldn't be here, but he is. So let's pretend this is in
Before we
6
hit on
months.
that, while the chat discusses that, since Wrathful Kirk was just up here, he was one of the limited time offers recently.
Still is?
So before we get too far away from him, is that someone that you would shell out $10 for?
Absolutely, I would. I went after him hard in his event and fused him up right away, and he has seen pretty much constant voyage use from me since. And on top of that, he's obviously an event stud, one of the top event cards in the game. So I would absolutely go after him.
I've not, because I kind of, I'm now kind of in that phase of the game where I'm just sort of want to kind of keep this crew slots a little bit low because I've got more golds than I probably should have at this point. And sort of, okay, he's a Kirk variant, he's very good, and I'd probably do well to have him and cite him like you did, Big, but I don't need him. I could do for events, but I'm not for someone that might just be like that, that it could be something in the future that's not worth that for me at the moment, but for other people definitely, he's a very good card, just not for moi.
Yeah, I think in terms of limited time offers, the sort of $10 for a crew and other stuff, he's definitely above average, so I'm gonna give him that.
I like the sort of the LTOs, those cards to add to stars that I've already got, as opposed to sort of buying in for a 1 of 5. I like to see someone saying, right, even if I went for the Intendant Kira and Guinevere Kira because I'm adding stars to them. They're not great, but I want to see more stars on them. So that's where I come from in terms of those. But Lorca, Baul, or Hugh. Baul 1 star, the rest 0. A lot of people are saying Baul in chat. Hugh I have at 5 of 5 because I got him from the recaps. He makes a lot of voyages for me, surprisingly, actually. But yeah, he's decent.
I mean, I think for me, it's Baul, even if the stars were all equal. Just because he is such a niche crew, he only shares his trait set with Temporal Prisoner Chakotay, and he's significantly more voyage power than Chakotay. I mean, the only thing that I've found disappointing about him, because I've used him a lot, is just the lack of traits really hampers him on voyages.
Yeah.
Which is his primary thing. But, Angmed crew, you're going to have to find a reason not to take him a lot of the time. And he's one of the best. So even without the star advantage, I would take Baul.
No, I probably would too.
Yeah, if I could throw a lifesaver to the Cite Your Favorites crowd, it's that Hugh, and smite me if I'm wrong, I haven't looked at him too recently. He's got good voyage power, he's got good voyage metrics, but he doesn't have the best voyage metrics. Nevertheless, he's still in that range. I mean, anywhere between 1 and, close to 200 if the skill set allows. Voyage rank, you can cite if you love them, and they'll make voyages. Now, Hugh is certainly better than that. But like Idle said, he liked them. He cited them.
Well, I got him
a ton of voyages.
Recaps. I didn't cite him. I was lucky to get him to 5 of 5 through my
so
intense
your completely
binge
unhealthy addiction has resulted in a 5.
Hey, it's been helpful. If I look back to that mega, which was Executive Director Hugh and Age of Sail Wharf. No, I can't remember now. Anyway, for the card, Viharai Saru and Executive Director Hugh, fantastic rhyming slang there, were the 2 cards I got from that, and actually 2 of my good voyages. So I was lucky. But looking to this mega, if I look at sort of what crew I get from this at 5 of 5, they wouldn't do the same kind of thing. I'm just loving your expression, Big.
It's warranted. This has been a terrible mega. I'm sure you guys have been talking about it.
A little bit, yeah.
Just to put a capstone on it, I'll also go with Baul. But Hugh, if you like him, I'll try to avoid Picard spoilers. He will put in some work for you for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I think, like you say, Big, what we said earlier was thematically, this mega's been brilliant. It's been a good Enterprise mega so far. Stats-wise, crew-wise. Anyway, let's spin the wheel.
They'd be nice to see on your roster if you like them, but you're really not going to use them for that much.
No.
Sadly.
Unfortunately so.
I'm sort of a slave to stats, but I want to move to the Cite Who You Love group. The thing that holds me back is you cite a bunch of these, I don't know, Voyage 100 crew that you really love. I feel like it puts you on a treadmill of you're going to be citing crew more frequently to replace them rather than someone like First Officer Burnham, who has been the gold standard for, 3 years by now?
Mm-hmm.
If you cited her back then, she's still like, she's the bar, she sets the bar. So it's always that struggle. I mean, there's certainly crew that, like I said, like I told Ben when he was on, if we ever get Cubas Faggio, I'm dropping everything I have. And giving him the 5-5. So
I'm definitely in. I think the metric was, for me, it's just like, right, I'm making 10-hour voyages now. Like, I'm quite happy. Even the ones that fail, I make 8. Like, I don't need to push. I'm not making 12 hours. No one's making that. But so I don't have to be particular. I'm still in the back of my mind citing people that make events because the faction event help is always there. But yeah, like I've said before on chat and things like that, my next site candidate is probably going to be Age of Sail just because I want it done. I want to do that for the love.
Yeah, I'm actually in a similar situation where I've got 2 out of the 3 remaining cards for the Arman Bashir, which are Honeybear Jadzia and Garrick Elam Garrick at 4 or 5. And I mean, Jadzia is a good card, but Garrick is thoroughly mediocre. But I'm thinking of citing them anyway, just to knock 2 rungs off of that collection. And I mean, that doesn't really have much of anything to do with stats. It's just I want to have them done.
Yeah. Speaking of, one thing we haven't discussed is this week's 490s, which was Twilight to Pol and Lissan, and they've been marked as 390 dilithium.
You got there 5 seconds ahead of me because I was just ad warping. I was ad warping cadets, and then I was going to throw this.
No, put it up. Screen share, please.
There you go. I'll do that on my phone.
Yeah.
To Pol.
Resolution is fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You can't even get back. I like the motion blur there as well. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's like realistic. But yeah,
look, when you figure out how to put a black on black background crew on the screen, then you come talk to me. How about that?
But yes, no, there are, in a change of pace, 2 things have changed. The LTOs, Wrathful Kirk and Assimilated Taurus, now have a little bit more, 1,900 chronotons and a bit more credits to their purchase. And also the 490 dilithium packs are now 390. Now, I noticed the community have been very sneaky about this because when there's anything detrimental, if a pack is about 650 and shouldn't be, there will be hell to pay. But now there's a 390 that should be a 490. Everyone's just like, shut up. They haven't noticed. So I'm half wondering, considering this has gone on this long, whether this is actually a way forward for 490 packs and a mega, or are we about to get crucified because we've actually mentioned it now?
My guess is that this was probably an oversight. I mean, because the Andorian pack didn't have the names of the crew written on it either when it went live.
That's true.
So I think but I think it's been up for long enough now that, or even was up long enough then, and enough people had bought it at that 390 price. It's like, well, there's really nothing we can do about it now. We'll try and fix it the next time. But if in the course of doing it, they've decided to change that, I think that's a change for the better for everybody, really.
It definitely made me rethink about recaps, and I was thinking, because I pulled on Twilight to Pol and got enough to immortalize her, and I was just like, I can't refuse that. That's great. That's God also.
We still have the Behold running.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for us to wrap it up. I need a wee as well, so I'm going to stop it, run off while you guys talk about it.
All right, so if I can go back in Timeline's history, there was a pack, the Independence Day pack, where when you opened it, you got free dilithium and free VIP points, obviously bugged. And you could just open it over and over and over again.
Just to be clear about it, it's like you paid less in dilithium than the dilithium you got for buying.
Right. Now, there were people that farmed literally hundreds of thousands of dilithium on these packs, and customer support had to go through by hand and refund these, basically undo the damage. So anyway, I posted the thread in engineering room, which is the tech support room on DB forums, and I actually got hate mail. Like, you fucking idiot, why would you make this public? And I'm like, come on, it's a bug, leave me alone. So like you said, Idle, if it's a favorable bug, sometimes people will keep their mouths shut.
Do right.
But yeah, as for me, I kind of want, because I missed the poll on this, my fourth account, and I kind of wanted 1 star first. So when I saw it was 390 instead of 490, that was just the push I needed. Yeah. To try, and so yes, it worked for me.
Hope you're listening, WRG. We prefer the 490s as 390s. Much nicer. You might get a few.
Hell, make them 5 dilithium. Why not?
No, that's too cheap. It's shallow. It doesn't seem much. Right, I'm going to stop this thing. Okay. I'm going to go for a wee, and you guys talk about this one. Interface Barkley, Caliphie Kirk, the one law. Right. I'll be back. Have fun.
That's kind of interesting, actually. Are they all even stars? I can't actually see it.
Yes, even on they're all 0.5. By interesting, you mean Idle vomited on the floor and then ran away and left us to clean it up.
Yeah, well, just that it's not immediately obvious. I mean, I would lean Interface Barkley, just because the other two are pretty bad. But then you've got a Kirk in there. So, I mean, there's definitely more event potential with a Kirk than there would be with these other 2 cards.
Yeah, there was a time when the board collection meant something. That time has passed. Yeah. If we get a collection expansion, I don't know if it would be for board. Maybe they move it to 25 or something like that.
Well, and let's be honest, there's no reason for lore to actually have the trait, but that's for another time.
Well, yeah, we could do several shows on the how loosely connected you are to a group, and then you just get the trait. Yeah, it sort of is down to the other 2. You're right. Kirk, he has the events, but he doesn't have the base. If you get him at 1.5 and you level him up for an event, you might not even use him on a shuttle. You're going to be like, what is this 600 base nonsense? I can't fit him onto a shuttle. Yeah. Meanwhile, Barkley, I think, has had 3 event bonuses in going on 4 years of the game.
Yeah. So it's like, oddly enough, it's like the most interesting thing about these cards, I think, is Barkley's gauntlet usage, because he's one of the 45%ers and.
Right. I'm an absolute sucker, which is why I took Musketeer Forge earlier. I'm an absolute sucker for this 45% gauntlet crew. If I could field a whole lineup of them, even if they're not the best, it adds a little more RNG, which I sort of enjoy in the gauntlet. He's got a good command role. He's the better Voyager for whatever that matters. You wouldn't be using him at low SAR counts anyways. No. I don't know. Feet to the fire. I guess I take Barkley for gauntlet, but
I think
not more than 1 star. Not if I can help it.
I recently feed that Kirk for this event, and I can tell you, I wish I had, because he's got a top base of 723 at 1 star on sec.
You're not going to
find many. Sorry.
You're not going to find many purple Kirks that have a lower base than that.
Exactly. He has got 500 proficiency on the max, but still.
It's not going to do any good on a show.
We were going to do a whole spiel on whether or not it's even worth leveling these crew for events. Like we touched on earlier, these megas, if you're only getting 1 faction event that's sort of for getting the most out of your roster, but these crew that don't have good bases, if you think about it, depending on your bank, you're spending anywhere from a few chronotons to thousands of chronotons trying to get them to max level. That could be put to better use in a galaxy or a skirmish if you have the time to grind those out. So you sort of have to be a little more choosy now as we're skyrocketing past 800 crew, which ones you want to level for factions and which ones will just need to rot until they collect more stars.
I mean, think about it like this. If you went to the trouble of, because I know that there are players out here that, regardless of how useful they're going to be, they just like, well, I have the chance to unfreeze all of these crew. They never see the light of the day. They always stay in my vault. Imagine if you've gone all the way down to unfreezing like Mirror Archer and stuff like that. And this is what you did it for, to win this new goal.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So
what do you think I was doing last skirmish?
Yeah. Well, it's just you could go too overboard trying to collect event crew because, like you say, it's like you hit a tipping point where they don't matter anymore, especially the middling ones. It's like if you want to collect the best of the best so you feel like you're covered, you can cover 4, 6, maybe 8 shuttles worth of crew for, all your different main cast characters. That's one thing, but yeah, just trying to make sure you have everything you could possibly have. It's a waste of time in the end.
Well, on the other hand, particularly since you're in the middle of an enterprise mega, this may be your only chance at relevance for some of these crews. So it is sort of help focus your priorities.
I've unfrozen so many people, and I'm now thinking, no, I'm only going to run 5 shots anyway. What's it?
What, you don't want to win the Jhamel event? Is that what you're saying?
Only because I'm going to do recaps for this stream that I actually want to have something to pay off for it. It might be worth it. Who knows? I sacrificed my roster.
Jhamel bridge crew.
Oh yeah, I'm sacrificing my roster for entertainment. Let's spin.
By the way, before we get either too drunk or too off topic, which we are both already, we would like to do next week on the show all things citations. So if you guys have any citation quandaries, we just finished the honor sale. I'm sure you're sitting on 500 gold citations and you just don't know who to put them on. You can submit questions, of course, through Discord, through the forums, through PMs.
Let us know.
Yeah, just let us know. Give us your roster context. There is a wonderful tool on Datacore where you can export your entire roster, so we can take a look through that and give you much more detailed, accurate advice rather than only in a vacuum, which doesn't suit everyone. So we'll be doing that next week. Probably that's going to be the bulk of the show. Is just, and of course, if you want to hop in chat, give us your citation quandaries. We'll do that as well.
Yeah, we'll have a phone-in session. I need to work out how to do that and see if we can have someone call in, do the Frasier "I'm listening" moment. I'm going to segue onto that.
Hey, first time, long time. Well, I've been wondering about these 4 or 5s I got in my roster. Roll Tide.
I'll hang up and listen to your answer off call. Thank you.
Now to our sponsored advertisement.
All right, give me the sound effects. And
hang on,
beholder meter.
Before we do, since we're on that kind of line of conversation, in 2 weeks, many of you already know, and for those watching later, we are having Wicked Realm Games 1 and only. Ben is coming back to join us to answer some more questions and talk to us about possible upcoming things in the game. So please send us any questions you have, DM me, send me a message on the forums, or email timelinestalks@gmail.com. Can't guarantee we're going to ask them all, but please, by all means, send them in, because Ben will be here on the 2nd of September. All things going well.
Now,
God,
I know
also,
BigMcLargeHuge. BigMcLargeHuge used to be in the radio game. Did you always bury your most important promos in the second hour of the show?
I kind of figure everyone already knows anyway, but I've got to put it there for the plug. It's got to be there. Hang on, you started this. We're talking about what we're doing next week.
Yeah, I should have started it an hour ago at the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
You're supposed to have news and weather on the 8s. What kind of second-rate operation are we running here?
I'm reading Ion
It's
Storms
Santa
over
Fe.
Orion. Back to the studio.
Yeah. There's a gas cloud coming out of Uranus.
Nothing new there.
Okay. Hit the beholdometer, please.
All right. 1 star on Interfaced Barclay.
Wait,
0
hold on.
stars.
I didn't hear any sound effects.
Oh, sorry. I'll start it again because that was quite a lame one. Okay. No, let's do that one again because there's Lucille Davenport. She's not even in the poll. Who programmed this? Okay.
I mean, I don't mind
any
the
show.
hypothetical beholds makes as much sense to me because I mean, in the end, it's all about crew evaluation. I mean, so yes, it would be nice if it was representative of what's in the portal, but you know, the hypotheticals could be as instructive as anything else.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have 1 star on Gloria, 3 stars on the very handsome Admiral Nechayev, or 0 stars on RAF O'Brien.
It was the first one again.
1 star on Gloria.
Oh, the snap answer is O'Brien.
It looks like someone did not purchase the Gloria campaign. What are you doing watching the stream if you're not
Free to play, come on. Got to cater for that audience as well.
Stellar, you can yell at me later.
But let's look at this. So 2 of them are Gauntlet, Nechayev and Gloria. So your first stars come.
And they both
there.
have stars.
They both have stars already. So
exactly. But would you start O'Brien at this point?
I would, yeah, I think so. I mean, the collections really come into play, and engineering and command is still a relatively underserved voyage combo. And, you know, being a jury rigger, being a holodeck enthusiast, those are among the collections to complete. I mean, obviously, it's your first star on a gold toward it, and it would depend on how the rest of your roster is shaped up toward it. But all things being equal, I would go O'Brien.
SSR Passy says Nechayev is nearest to completion, and you can freeze her to make room. Which is,
but you can't. Yeah. Still only.
The wrench in this is double collections for Nechayev, including, I believe, Diplomat.
Oh.
Veteran and Diplomat, yeah.
Well, okay.
Which,
yeah,
one's already been expanded. O'Brien's in this weird state where, like, he was good for so long. And in Days of Yore 2018, especially, I think we had several O'Brien events. So he's got a great rep. His numbers don't support it. So I think the first words out of your mouth were collections, which, okay, he's 5 stars away. She's 2 stars away.
It's fair.
And Diplomat's already been expanded. But then again, like, you're never... She's only Gauntlet, that's right. Those bases, you could give her 8 stars. You're never going to use her, you know.
Don't give them ideas. Seriously.
And Gloria, the Dark Horse, does have a vanity collection, so...
That's very true. Is this one of those beholds where there isn't a bad choice?
It's dealer's choice, I think.
Yeah. I think you could go either way.
I have, being the whale that I am, I have the fatal Achilles heel of always taking the best crew available and letting my sites sort them out after the fact. So I'd probably take O'Brien, especially cheers, mate, since you've got the mug in your hand, but I don't think you can have a wrong answer really here.
Right, let's spin it. I'm not going to do that every time. I'm going to have to get a sound effect or something.
Big money, no whammies.
Let's get some crowd noise going. Right. Boom. Okay.
Oh, hold on. Paul Craig 27 says Gloria has skirmish use. Yes, I think with Trigger she's up to what, like plus 13 attack or something ludicrous, which would work well with even 200% attack crew. If you get someone that activates really fast, like Tamir.
Was it only plus 11? I thought it was only plus 11.
Is it plus 11? Let me check. I'm frequently wrong after the 3rd beer. Anyway, Sorry, for our podcast viewers, why don't you go ahead and
Podcast viewers.
explain the...
Okay, I'll let them know. We have not Miles. Julian Bashir, had to get that the right way around. 0 stars. Mirror Data, 0 stars. Or Beloved Anorax at 2 stars.
Okay, first of all, you couldn't be more right. She is plus 11, but I believe attack scales exponentially more than linearly. I know that. So plus 11 is pretty damn nice.
Yeah.
And she activates in 6 seconds. So she's what you need if you run a Creighton anyways.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I mean, this is one where the stars might make the decision, because I mean, these all seem relatively equal. I mean, if you want to get back to collections again, there's the Vanity collection for Bashir. I think Bashir is one of those niche Voyagers that the reputation outweighs the real power, because he's one of the party tricks where all 3 of his skills can get close to 1,000 plus, but he is the weakest med primary Voyager, I believe.
He's not med primary, I don't think. He's like Psi-Eng.
Is he not Sec? I always thought he'd be Sec.
Okay, he has Psi-Eng command, Beloved Anorax.
No, I was Bashir.
Oh, Bashir. Well, I'm on my 3rd elephant here, so mute me, please.
Let me bring up my spreadsheet.
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
Like Dark Ages McCoy, he is very flatly distributed. So his med is weak.
Yes, he does have
If
Sec.
you're a believer in pumping up tertiaries, he might help you there.
Yeah.
Apparently he has, according to Barclay, he has a startling use on Voyagers. Startling. Absolutely shocking.
A ton of voyages, even with other top-notch voyage med crew. Well, that surprises me because the numbers don't support that, but numbers aren't everything. So,
again,
well,
it depends on your rosters.
Well, and when you get to a certain point where you can put the primary and secondary at 13.5K every voyage, no matter what, then filling out your other stats does have some value to it, and he would be one of the primary candidates to do something like that, just because he can help float all your.
I know there are people listening. They're like, "Yeah, I can get to 1,300 and a half on my stats." Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and it's just one of those conventions that's been come to over time for people that have run lots and lots of voyages, that 13,500 is kind of your top end for voyage stats. Like,
he's
going beyond
3756. That's where he sits on the triplet.
Yeah. I have to say, since I've come back, I've tried the offer wall quite a bit in different offers, different games, and hey, man, look, it's either that or
no, this is a judgment-free zone.
It's either that or hooking to make ends meet, right?
So, wait, you're doing that now?
Oh,
I know.
No, the offer wall is my alternative. Anyways, I'm trying a lot of games. And, stuff like get to level 12 or level 20 or whatever. The first thing I do is look online, see if they have any advice, tier lists, that sort of thing. So I have a lot more appreciation for
the big book of Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, I'm actually working on that offer right now. Yeah. I would be done if it wasn't for this godforsaken stream, but whatever.
Sacrifices have to be made. Come on.
Well, yes, on Barclay's recommendation, I might pick them up in the future because I do love my vanity collections.
Just all looking at the triplet. I mean, there's not too many common people above him. Like, you've got Mirror Inquisitor and Troy, Q2, both quite rare. Bartender Guinan, who is, Gauntlet only, and the rest are sort of, Prisoner Katrina Cornwall is probably the only one most people might have that's above him, but otherwise you've got Niners Esri, Tactical Neelix, and the recent Alicia Travis. So, very much chance if you don't have the rest of those, he's going to be quite a good performer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm elbow deep in a spreadsheet now.
Ah, good man.
And Q2 is another one of those. We talk about crew. If you like the crew, cite them. Now, Q2 really flew under the radar when it came out, but that sort of unique skill combo and the splash of med, if you 5-5'd him after his event, I guarantee you're still using him on voyages now. Like, that's the beauty of the game is, okay, there's not a whole lot of crew that blow your socks off on the numbers charts, but that also means that you can sort of have a pick 'em of crew that you like, that characters you like, cite them up, and they'll do well for you for years to come, I think.
And I think Q Continuum is going to be... Sorry, Big, go on.
Oh, well, no, it's like that was kind of the thought that we had on Humanoid Figure last week, is that, nothing about him is overwhelming, but chances are you would probably use him more than you would think, even with numbers that don't just leap off a spreadsheet.
So if you're a big fan of shadowy figures, then he's your character site for sure.
And I loved the first 5 minutes of this show and looking at my shadowy figure up there on the top right.
To be fair, so there was this, we were just talking about this the other day. There was this period where Enterprise had ended, Nemesis was the last movie, and I'm like, will I ever see Star Trek again in my lifetime? So the shadowy figure, when Enterprise first came along, that was a really cool, they didn't finish the storyline or whatever, but that was intriguing. That first pilot episode I really enjoyed, and the shadowy figure is he appeared throughout the show. I'm like, I really want to figure out what's going on. So speaking of that, sorry if I can segue. I'm in the part of the show where I've drank so much that I don't stop talking. Speaking of Enterprise time traveling, we wanted to highlight a few great base crew for this week's faction event. And the one that comes to mind is Temporal Agent Daniels, who I believe is the top. See, now I've gone and messed with all of my Datacore.app pages.
I believe please support it.
I believe he's the top science option. Yeah, the number one science option, even over the former mega crew Serac. So if you had Temporal Agent Daniels, you picked him because he had a huge science base. This is your chance to put it to work.
There you go. Yep. We were going to go on a bit of a spiel tonight and talk about who's the best to unfreeze, but then we all saw what the reward was and kind of.
You have promised the viewers that you're going to pull a 5-5 Jhamel from recaps on stream. So you may as well get a star now.
That's true. I have promised that I will be pulling recaps. What I get from it is to the whim of the gods. And Ben, if you're watching, odds in my favor, please. Thanks.
What is in your favor? What are you hoping to get?
I don't know. It's just fun. I don't know.
Travers is the best card that's come out of this mega.
Do you have the art for the mega announcement that has all the crew that we're going to be seeing?
I had it. Do I still have it? Hang on.
Just we may as well wildly speculate.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I do still have it. So, should we start? Should we go through the whole school photo here? So you've got, and I won't do the recurring people. So we've got Evie Sutapol, we've got Brigitte Torres, we've got Narissa from Star Trek Picard for some reason, but I'm guessing that's because of the Romulan collection. We've got a Shran variant, we've got Jhamel, we've got Evie Suit Tuvok, Captain Hernandez, which I'm quite excited that I'm not going to get because I don't do Galaxy events, and Alicia Travers.
So in 3 weeks' time, when recaps have graced you with 4 Captain Hernandezes, what are you going to do?
I'm going to be quite happy about having 4 Captain Hernandezes, but yeah, it's the risk. I don't pull recaps because I've got nothing. I do it for fun. I do it for the sake of the stream.
I have video proof that you do pull recaps.
No. I mean, I do, but I do. it's more fun to pull them and agonize over the behold choices, or be excited whether I get lucky, or be quite sad because I got bugger all. You know, it's interesting. If I wasn't running this stream, I would definitely look more at 490s. But because I do this, it's more fun. And if you can't have fun doing it, what's the point?
Former number 2 event finisher DC Pilot has already kicked it off in the chat. But I want to hear you guys in the chat. Are you pulling recaps based on what you've seen so far? Shadowy Bastard, Travers, and Jhamel now. Which, I mean, you're going to get a 4/5 of Humanoid Figure already.
Paul.
What's that?
EV Suit Paul also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, AV Suit Paul is included. So we've seen 4 of the 5. Travers is a pretty good med crew. Paul will get events down the line. Is anyone pulling recap packs other than Idle, who's blowing his entire dilithium stockpile on 390s?
I'm seeing a lot of no. SSR Passy says, I do the recaps, but stop after getting the last couple of purple stars, which is, you know, golds are a happy accident. The true Bob Ross man you are.
Yeah, so purples are we sort of, because a lot of us are veteran players, we sort of gloss over the purples, but trying to finish these 3-4 purple crew, especially someone like Phlox, which I've been going around and around on him. He has a physician collection, which is trivially easy to complete. I'm on my 4th beer, but it may be expanded in the future. 390 packs are cheaper, even though it's not a guarantee of who you're going to get. Do you guys ever pull for these purples? Because, you know, you only have to do a few of them before you pick up who you want.
Well, see, that's what I did with which Mega Fenris Ranger 7 was, because she was a Galaxy reward, so I could have got 4 stars, but I wanted to save crons, so I went up to the 100,000 mark. Was she not?
Wow.
She was the Galaxy reward. I know, because I needed to pull packs. I needed to pull recaps at the end to get her last star.
Okay. Someone was a Galaxy reward. So I only pulled up to the 100,000 for the equipment, for the shirt, the lovely fancy uniform. And I thought, I'm doing recaps. I'll put it in the recaps and I'll save myself the crons, because I'm not a Galaxy farmer like some people are. I've got too many crew to work on to do that first. But yeah, the purples are the aim to get finished for a lot of people, and I think you can do that in about 10 pulls. I think that's reasonable.
So it looks like nobody in chat is pulling recaps as of now, other than Stellar Ice. But a DC Pilot says that the 390 T'Pol pack sort of pushed him over the edge, scratched the pack pulling itch. So
I can completely understand that. And I think talking to number 2 faction event winner, I've turned it to Chekhov. Number 2,
you're the designated driver, Big.
Event winner, DC Pilot. We were talking and we were saying, he does every other recap pack. You know, he will do this mega, or he will miss one and then do the next one in a bit to sort of save up to lithium. And to hear him say, actually, I'm going to skip it, kind of speaks to the strength of the crew. Even who was the goals for the last mega? Because I did a few pulls on those. That was Suspiria, but who else was there?
What a great
caregiver.
Okay, guys.
That was the caregiver man. I'm just having this rant flash before my eyes. That's all I remember.
Hello.
I remember Linus week 1.
Oh yes, it was the before and after mega. That's right.
Which sort of killed the recap pack hype in its tracks.
Yeah.
So I don't remember who came after that. Linus, Dr. Van Gogh, Chuckles, and then I don't remember who the last one was.
See, DC, you're on the wrong cycle. You should have been pulling for that one and not for that. You know, we're all hopeful.
That wasn't the worst one.
No,
Dr.
that was
Van Gogh,
good.
great skill set. Chuckles, great voyage power. And Dodge, good voyage power, good base.
Dodge, wasn't it? Yeah.
He's amazing. Dodge, yes. Last one.
That's right. It was a Voyager Picard mega. That was weird.
Much love to our sober viewers who are basically doing our event notes or our show notes for us as we go.
Dodge is amazing. Should we spin this thing?
Sure, spin it.
Spin it. And
Before we wind down, I want to hear you guys' opinion now that we've had. Okay, so we have the ear of Ben. He talks to us every day. He mulls over all his important life decisions with us. And 2 months, by the way, to the day that we talked to him on this stream, we had
Oh.
this honor sale, which has been fantastic.
Yes.
So now that we've had 2 honor sales in a row where it's been structurally pretty similar, 40,000 for a citation and a B gold, has that affected how you spend dilithium, how you spend honor? Are you guys stockpiling harder now, expecting that the honor sales are to come? Are you pulling more 390 packs to be a little more honor efficient with your premium currency?
I don't think it changed much for me because I was trying to hoard every scrap of it anyway. I mean, for reasons that we'll not really touch on right now, I managed to torch most of it before this honor sale came around. But it was always my intent to save with the just once a year honor sale as an end goal. Maybe with the idea of getting up to around 500,000 honor or so, keeping that as a bank, and then maybe spending some of the rest just to keep myself interested in the interim. But if we're going to have these more than once a year now, there is no reason to spend a drop of honor outside of an honor sale. There's no reason.
No.
And as far as dilithium, oh, go ahead.
No, please carry on.
Well, as far as dilithium goes, I think I am more inclined to spend them more regularly on like 490 packs, just discounted packs in general, just to build up more honor towards those honor sales. Just because what you get is so outsized as far as the value of what you get in those honor sales, opposed to anything else you get throughout the rest of the year. There's just no reason not to spend with the idea of maximizing your honor sale revenue,
especially if they're going to do the sites with the 40Ks. Like that's
yeah.
Essentially this was a copy and paste of the last honor sale, which is kind of what the rumors led to. And me doing the same as you and burning all my honor quite publicly, had to do a little bit of catch up and ended up with quite a few sites as a result. So it's not actually ended up that bad, but yeah, definitely going to be saving all my honor for whatever they do come Convergence Day.
Yeah.
So point number 1. In January, we had Convergence Day sale, which was this fantastic form of honor sale where we got, percentage off. And guys like Paladin 27 were leading the charge saying, look, this is then DB, now Wicked Realm. They pay attention to these sort of holidays. There may be a big sale coming up, and people that listened were handsomely rewarded. As Barkley says in the chat, we have a 5-year Star Trek Timeline celebration coming up next year, early next year, January. This may be even better. Maybe we get gold citations for only 5 honor instead of 40,000. Who knows? Point number 2. Stars and Garters who would not come on today, even though we tried to drag him on, would say with a flip of his hair, fact of the matter is, you have to cite who you love in the meantime. You need to give yourself motivation to keep playing. If you hoard every drop of honor for 6 months, maybe you get burned out on the game. Maybe you don't want to play so much. So the fact of the matter is, you need to cite in the meantime.
He's never coming back now if you're going to do that.
Even if it's only crew that you already have 4 stars of, to try to finish them, to give you a little more incentive, to give you motivation, to give you momentum. So there is sort of a happy medium. I'm one of those people that can save every drop, but not everyone can. So don't force yourself to do something that doesn't feel good when you're playing. Because the fact of the matter is,
well, yeah,
I love this.
You have to do what keeps you engaged. That's why I was going to, just get up to a bank of honor that I was comfortable. It's like, okay, if an honor sale comes, I feel like I'm sufficiently stocked to do what I want to do, and then maybe splash around a little bit with the remainder. So yeah, I mean, I will say, and I've felt it numerous times in those big dry spells of hoarding. That's like, it does start to feel pretty joyless after a while. where you're sitting on all this stuff, and it's like you're looking at all this crew, like these, especially like good crew that you get from like megas or something like that. Not this mega, but other megas.
Like Suspiria, the gold standard of mega crew.
Yes, but you see them, and it's like these could be immortalized right now, right this second, and I have the stuff to do it, but I can't because I'm saving for this honor sale that I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It does wear on you over time. So yeah, it is finding a balance, but I mean, I think just for me personally, it's going to be as much as I can is going to be saving for the honor sales.
And on that note, we will be doing a all things citation advice next week. So if you have a bunch of those citations from the honor sale and you're not sure who to stick them on, send in your crew roster, your considerations and all that stuff, and we will shout you out on air and hopefully guide you to the right decision.
Cite Worf, cite Janeway, cite Kirk. All right, shall I stop this thing and shall we make this our last one?
Yes.
And then we'll call it. So, boom. Okay. This is a classic. Look at this. This is the best of the best. Natima Lang, no stars. The Professor, no stars. Gul Madred, no stars. Cream of the crop. Oh, crop. Sorry.
Cream of the crop, yes.
Is Natima a diplomat? Because that might be.
She has at least one stat boosting collection. Let me check.
I think it's just Cardassian, isn't it? You have a look.
No, I think it's inspiring. To boldly go. So yeah, inspiring and Cardassian.
Do you think inspiring will get a?
I think that kind of all will. Like anything that has 50 plus representatives, why not expand it?
Yeah,
it encourages people.
Sorry, they've already shown a propensity to do it. So I'm operating under the assumption that they will all eventually be expanded.
Skycap says, Skycap says 550 honor.
He's not wrong.
Now, something like 3 years ago, like the very day the gauntlet started, not Damar, what the hell is this Cardassian's name?
Oh, yeah, Gul Madred.
These friggin' Cardis. The minstrel boy to the war has gone. In the ranks of death you'll find him. Sorry, I'm channeling O'Brien. Yes. Gul Madred, 3 years ago, was pretty damn good in the gauntlet. Like, he had good rolls. He had a few crit traits. I don't know if he gets a 45% anymore, but he's like the only one of these outside of an expedition rerun for the Professor that I can see actually using day-to-day save a Cardassian Mega.
Well, and back in that time, there were no, outside of maybe you have like Gangster Spot, there really weren't any big security roles at the beginning of the gauntlet. So he had a leg up there. Man, this is rough. My initial thought, and even though she's the most boring card, I think Natima is probably my choice, just because of the collection value. Because there's not much value elsewhere for any of these cards. I mean, as much as I, take who you love, Gul Madred would be my take who I love, just because Chain of Command was a great two-parter, and he was one of the most memorable parts of it. But yeah, I think I'd have to go Natima Lang myself.
I'd take Madred for love. I mean, is this a classic example of Behold with no bad choices?
No good choices.
Bad choices. I'm not quite sure which.
Yeah, there's no good choice, so there's no bad choices.
Exactly.
You're just wave your finger on the screen and hit something.
Last year when we had that interrogator prisoner Mega, when we figured out Thrax would be the recurring, everyone jumped on Cardassian for Mega. And I still think that these races who have low numbers of crew in game, Ferengi, Cardassian, Bajoran, etc., I think it's almost a lock that we get them at some point, because they're not ballooning in pools to hundreds like Romanticas. Everyone's horny in Star Trek. I like that. I'm going to steal that. So I think someone like Natima, who, when we thought it might be a Cardassian Mega, we looked at these numbers and they were disgusting. Crew like Gulma Dread that fully fused, like barely broke 1,000 base. Natima has a much better base. Double collections. If I were a betting man, I would say that you would use her at some point in the future. Yes, where I can't really say that about the other crew.
I mean, the Professor's Expedition Mega has been repeated 3 times now.
You're right. Baseball rules apply.
That's the one that they dust off. They're sitting around the table at Wicked Realm Games. They're like, do people still hate expeditions?
Yes.
I don't know. Let's try one.
Yes, they do.
Which one do we use? We use the Professor one. Okay. Oh, yeah, they still hate them. We'll pull them out in 2 years from now.
Can I just say that, like, you know, I've been taking questions for Ben's stream in 2 weeks, and someone posited the question, you know, yeah, you guys talking about expeditions and any more, and I kind of want to cut the question because I don't want to talk about expeditions and give them any ideas.
You know, the funny thing was, and this is going behind the show a little bit, when they announced the rerun expedition, Idol was kind of excited because he'd never done an expedition before. And he's like, oh, this would be something new, something different. And not even 24 hours, maybe not even 12 hours into the event starting, he's like, I hate expedition. I never do expedition again. This is a terrible event idea.
The thing that got me is I claimed the tickets straight off from the reward table and was like, yeah, you can't use them after today. And I was like, what? So I just got these for fucking nothing. I can't even rank high.
Meanwhile, your son is like, Daddy, read me a bedtime story. You're like, expedition tickets.
It's like, you fucking play. I don't care.
Our chat is revolting because apparently the kind of people that the show attracts absolutely loves expedition. So I say pander. This is the greatest event type. And surely if they rerun it, the Professor will find use for you.
The 4th time, no. Although I would take another star for Detective Data, but no. Ugh.
Well, it's like, I will say that, I mean, for whatever this is worth, expeditions are the most strategic event type. You have to put the most thought into how you use your crew and in what order. But man, it gets really tedious really fast.
Because bear in mind, we play galaxies and skirmish events, and that is still more tedious.
Yeah, well, because those are passive tedium, to where you do it once and then it's just tap. Expeditions are active tedium because it's like you have to pay attention to do it correctly, but you have to do it over and over and over and over again.
We are categorizing the forms of tedium on the show. Does that mean it's time to...
Yeah.
What are we willing to put up with?
All right, I promise our faithful viewers that next time Wicked Realm asks us about expeditions, I will not be vocally against it just because of this chat.
No
I want you guys to have a good time playing this game. They won't, but I will.
Give that question to Stars.
Yes. I'm sure he loves it as much as I do. All right. Shall we say adieu for this week? Auto, Big, again, it's been wonderful to have you. And Big, it's been good to actually talk to you about stats without Seven and me derailing the conversation. All I can think of in our conversation, you just sitting there going, what the fuck is going on? But no, guys, Auto, it's been lovely to see you. And I'm looking forward to having the old gang back on next week.
Yes, in 1 week we have all things citations. So be sure to send in your citation quandaries. In 2 weeks we have Wicked Realm Games Ben to chat with us, maybe tell us his favorite brew, and we'll see what else comes of that. So if you have questions for Ben, if you have citation questions, get them all in now.
We'll be talking all things Kings of Avalon or Raid, Shadow Legends, or any of that other stuff. Will we? No, not really.
Hey, I got 4 dilithium. I can't complain.
Oh, man, rich man. Okay. Guys, thank you, chat, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you next week. See you next time on Timelines Talks. Ta-ra!